are two countries in the world that are experiencing a crisis with their teachers and their textbooks. This is absolutely fascinating. This is not happening in Europe. It's not happening in Central or South America. It's not happening across the African continent. It's not happening, to the best of my knowledge, in Asia. But in Russia, they're changing the textbooks to try to say that essentially what we're doing in Ukraine is good. Alan Singer writing over at dailycoz.com. Russian teachers received official teaching guides to use in their secondary school classes that justified the military action in Ukraine as a battle against neo-Nazis and against Western nations trying to undermine Russian sovereignty. You get this? So the Russians are changing the textbooks because, hey, we're autocrats. We have the power. We can do it. We're going to, There was, in fact, one teacher pushed back. His name was Andrei Shestakov, and he created a WhatsApp group in Russian for Russian history teachers that, kind of took on this official Russian version of what's going on in Ukraine. He also told his students that the mandated teaching guide, the new book that he got from the government, where they said, you must teach this way, was, quote, historically inaccurate, including the claim that Ukraine was an artificial invention of the Soviet Union. And he came out and said to his class that he opposed the war. So what happened? Well, the local police came and arrested him and then handed him over to the Federal Security Service, Russia's equivalent of the FBI, and they hit him with a fine of 35,000 rubles for, quote, discrediting the Russian armed services. He then quit his teaching job before they could fire him. So that's how they're doing it in Russia, this anti-truth campaign. Here in the United States, we're the other country in the world that has this problem. Down in Florida, their Department of Education just banned 54 math books. M-A-T-H, math books. And yes, I know that one of the big Republican influencers has been publishing what looks like a multiple choice test that is pretty out there about, Susie's two mommies or whatever, or how many trans kids. I forget the details, but it was kind of pushing the boundaries. Or you look at it and go, really, in a textbook? Oh, it turns out it wasn't really in a textbook. It wasn't even in a school. It wasn't even real. It was derived from something altogether different, which had nothing to do with schools or education. But she's out there pushing this, and it's getting literally millions of shares. But when the DeSantis administration, the guy who wants to be the next neo-fascist to run the United States, when Ron DeSantis' administration was asked, okay, what are these 54 books that you object to, that you have censored? These math books, math textbooks. And what do you object to in them? They didn't have an answer. It's just, hey, we want bragging rights. In fact, DeSantis's Commissioner of Education, Richard Corcoran, says that his office is going to, just like the Russians, right? We are going to police teachers to ensure that they're not indoctrinating students with a liberal agenda. He bragged that he would, quote, censor or fire or terminate numerous teachers, end quote. And this is not just in Florida. Laws have been passed in the last year in Arkansas, Idaho, Iowa, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas, all banning essentially the teaching of American history. You may not talk about how bad those white people were to those black people back in the day. In Alabama, Florida, South Dakota, Utah, and Virginia, Governors have signed executive orders, or state boards of education have laid down the law and said, sorry, just like in Russia, the truth can be censored here in Alabama, Florida, South Dakota, Utah, and Virginia. And again, by legislative law, Arkansas, Idaho, Iowa, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. And let's not forget Florida. During this last school year, the 2021-2022 school year, the one that we're in right now, at least 6 teachers and school administrators in the United States resigned following death threats. Death threats against teachers in the United States. The school superintendent in Redding, Connecticut, he's an African-American man. He resigned after a conservative accused him of trying to indoctrinate his students with critical race theory. 4 school administrators in South Lake, Texas, who were, a year ago given the responsibility of coming up with a lesson plan to teach how racial and cultural discrimination can happen, resigned for similar reasons, the threats they were getting. In most cases, teachers are just intimidated into silence. They want, they want to keep their job. They want to keep their health insurance. They want to keep the, they want to keep their homes. And in New Hampshire and in Oklahoma, anyone, not just a parent or a student, but anyone can sue a teacher for pretty much anything. Oh my God, this is, this teacher is teaching the history, the racial history of America. This is wrong. I want $10,000. And what does the teacher have to do? The teacher then has to go out and hire a lawyer to defend herself or himself, which can cost thousands. It can cost tens of thousands of dollars if it gets to be serious litigation. Republicans are trying to turn the United States into Russia. In Russia, elections don't matter. The Republicans are changing election laws in the United States. In Russia, gay people are banned, essentially, or any conversation about LGBTQ issues is banned. And trans people in particular are just the victims of brutal crimes. Republicans are trying to do the same here in the United States. Just like Republicans in the United States are trying to get the history of slavery and the slaughter, the genocide of Native Americans, and the murders, the brutal murders and enslavement of African Americans for 400 years on this continent by mostly white people. Republicans are trying to get that taken out of our history books. Lawrence last night on his program, say what? O'Donnell. Yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell, thank you. Lawrence O'Donnell on his show last night on MSNBC was asking the question, is a vote for Republicans a vote against democracy? I think it's becoming fairly obvious. These anti-truth campaigns in Russia and in the United States. Well, you got 6 Republican senators going to Russia to celebrate the 4th of July. You've got 6 Republican members of the House of Representatives, including Thomas Massie, the guy whose picture I included in my article today, a Hartmann Report, grooming his children to be mass shooters. They're all holding literally weapons of war. Kids. He voted to make it illegal for America to help preserve evidence of war crimes in Ukraine.